Hello, today I'm going to show you a use case on the DataMiner platform using the DataMiner HTML5 no coding dashboards. And I'm going to show you how powerful this can be to help with your workflows and your operations team. The dashboard is leveraging the powerful DataMiner platform that does all the data collection from all your elements and applications in your network, and we can make it very easy to display all this information. And so this is the example I'm using is on the Orion OTT probes by Interra, and I'm going to show you examples of what we can do. So one, this is just looking at an individual Orion OTT server, and if you logged into the Orion OTT server and look at their main dashboard, this would be very similar. I've all the same metrics and KPI as the Orion web page would. And as you can see, I have a system health, and I can see all the live services, and I can see all the alarms on the system. Here's the system health. I can see, the manager and the monitors. I can see uptime, CPU usage, and then you can even, besides knowing the exact number of 33 or 51, we can actually, graph this over time too, to see if you can see any spikes or anything. And that's all configurable. It can be by hour, by day, by 7 days. And you can zoom in and zoom out as I'm showing there. Here we can see all the services, all the live services that this probe is monitoring. And below it, we can actually see a graph. So right now, you can see it's constant at 127 services, but you could also here see, how many are active, inactive, in queue, and so on. Below it, we have the alarms table. These are all the services or the alarms that are happening on the services. It gives you a good distribution, shows you how many critical alarms you have, and it puts a little table below it. Very helpful. This table here shows every service that this Orion OTT probe is currently monitoring. So you can see it all in one spot. Scroll up, scroll down. As you saw above, there's 127, and you can get a quick status on it. Below is a penalty box. So these are all the alarms that Orion probe is currently uh, caught right now, real time. The next page we're going to look at is this is looking at a single Orion server, and it's more of a different way to look at all the data. And what's really interesting here is there's a drop-down selector here. So let's say I have 10 of these servers. I can click here. It'll give me a list. I can do a drop-down and quickly select between all of the between each individual server. And it's giving me a lot of the same information as the last page, but a little bit more condensed. The system health is in a smaller table. I'd have to click on one of these to actually look at the graph. What's really important in this table is the licensing information. It's going to give me some information such as my total licensing bandwidth, how much has been consumed, and how much more is available. And it also can be graphed. You can see it in graphs. I also have an alarm table, and so only the alarms for that selected server. All right. There again, I'm showing the system health. You can quickly get a quick view of the system health. And it's very important to stay within your bounds of your licensing. And so here we can click and see how your services are being deployed and the bandwidth that's being consumed. It's real time. And that's also done by clicking on this little squiggly list. All right, the next page is we're going to look at system-wide. And this is important because this is given a high level overview of all the servers in your system. In this example, we have 19 servers. And so just think if you had to sit down with a piece of paper and log into every one of these servers and collect this information, then add it up and calculate it to see what what your total bandwidth is, the available bandwidth, and your consumed bandwidth is, right? This is all real time as it is happening. Also, we can see real time total amount of services that these 19 servers are monitoring, how many are active, inactive, and in queue. Below that is the table of all 19 servers, and it gives you a quick overview of every active services or inactive services. And it can tell you, from a DevOps um, deployment, like maybe I'm underutilizing or overutilizing some of my servers. How's my distribution? Also here, I can look at another way to look at the bandwidth consumed. I'm making it more simpler than the last page. It's all in one spot. You can see how much I've consumed and how much I might have available. The next page is sort of another way to just dig into the licensing. And on this left here is a feed selector. And so here's all the servers, but I can click one, two, multiple different Orion OTT probes, and as I select them, they'll show up in these two or three tables here, and that way I can get a good view of each server and how they compare. And maybe I just want to look at one or two or three or four or six, right? And so as you can see, these are the number of services. Down here I have my bandwidth consumptions. You can see only one service only has, one of the probes only has 3 services on there. Maybe I didn't deploy my services correctly. Maybe I need to go back and do some different calculations. The same thing with my my bandwidth, right? As you can see, I can just easily click and select other feeds. Below here is the alarm table, same thing. As I select these servers, I'm seeing the alarms only for those specific servers that I selected. All right, the next page here is we're going to look at, I would call this like a system-wide penalty box. And so this is going to look at all the statuses um, of each service and this is the status and this is what's wrong. This is the label. And so a URL not found, and it's given me the description of it. And this is across all 19 servers. So this is very helpful. It's like a penalty box monitored by exception. And so I can click on these and sort of like an Excel spreadsheet, just by clicking on the column. So I can quickly get up around and get a good view of what's going on. The next dashboard is to dig down into specific types of errors, right? And if you look on the bottom down here, the Orion OTT probes can really give you a lot of different types of errors. So you can search for manifest errors, segment errors, encryption errors, HTTP errors, and content errors, right? And so what this dashboard is doing is really digging into two of the kind that I might find more important: critical content errors and HTTP errors. This is across the whole system, right? So I don't have to log into every Orion OTT server to find this information, all populated right here live. And so across all these servers, I have 192 services that have no content errors, and I have 192 that do. And then here's my HTTP errors, and I have 435 that do not have HTTP errors. These are like pivot tables here, and as you can see, these are the services with content critical errors. These 192 are all showing up in this table here, and they're split out by the probe. All right, this probe saw this many, this service had this many content error critical errors, but that only counts as one over here. Okay, and then as you can see, 3 services had HTTP critical errors, and here's these 3 services. Now over the time frame, this service had 20, but only 3 services have critical errors right now, and it's on that Orion probe right there. Down below is more where it goes across. I can select each individual server and look at these 4 types of critical errors across each server. So as you can see, I can do a drop down, a selection list, and choose a specific server, and it's only going to display services that have one of these type of critical errors. So as you can see, these two services have content critical errors. If I click on another one, um, here we go, content critical errors. You can see right here, I can sort them. So it's just another way to go dig in to find where you're having what type of errors, what type of server, what type of services. The very last page I'm going to show here is the other one for like content or HTTP errors. This is just a status label of all your services across all the servers, and then I think I showed it a little bit before, sort of like a penalty box, monitor by exception, and what's not normal in the system. And it's like it's very simple, very little like a um, table penalty box. So thank you for your time, and I just want to again show you the power of DataMiner and how it can monitor many systems in one spot.